There it is.
What do I do?
I'm Nicole. Hello. I'm Debbie.
Nicole J.
Catherine.
C.
Okay. So, should we just read the first question?
Yes, please.
Okay. According to Barbara, the two authors in Global Women describe the pattern of this class-based female migration or gender revolution. What are the costs and benefits of this new migration? Would you describe the scenario as sort of liberation? Why or why not?
That's a lot. Yeah.
So it was
The first
describe gender revolution,
So-
and then do you think it's a form of liberation? Why or why not?
And if it was cost and benefits. It was what I think originally said that only like men had always like gone out for like labor work, and it was like 16 to 19. No, that was a slavery thing, maybe. But men had always ventured out to get the labor work, and then females started to do that for more of like the what is it called again? Women work. What was it in the quotation?
Yeah, like women's work.
Yeah, so they did that. They like migrated to do the women's work. And
So I guess based on that, it would be a form of liberation because women themselves are allowing themselves to like move through the workforce. Right?
Take over for the men.
Yeah, there are definitely like costs and benefits that she talks about, or like the benefits is that some of the women do feel liberated because like a lot of times they have like abusive husbands or they're not able to support their children. Then when they come here and they can work by themselves and still support their children. But then again, they're leaving their kids behind. I think one of the like Josephine's kids, one like tried to commit suicide like 2 or 3 times. And the other one, she's like at like this basic orphanage and just they're not, really in a happy state of mind. They're not like a whole family, so that part sucks. But I think it says that either she can live with her children in desperate poverty or make money by living apart from them. So it's kind of almost a lose-lose situation because if she lives with them, yes, they're family, but they live in poverty, and so they'll be miserable. But when she's living apart from them, they're both miserable, but at least they're not starving.
right.
So, yeah.
Right here, it kind of talks about like effects of that too. It says there's really 2, and the first one is this formulation fails to account for the marked failure of first world governments to meet the needs created by its women's entry into the workforce. And so it's like even though they're going into the workforce and whatnot, they're not taking into account the fact that they're women, and so that their needs are different than the needs of men. And then any view of the globalization of domestic work as simply an arrangement among women completely omits the role of men. And so now they're kind of like saying that if we try to adapt to the needs of women, we're going to be ignoring men. And so it's like they're kind of viewing this as like a lose-lose situation almost.
I mean, the only other cost that I can think of is that women are also could be subjected to sexual work, which is not. Yeah, and it's like sometimes it's like forced or like purpose. Like they're either purposely going for that or they're forced into it. So that's also a cost of that.
Yeah. And some of the people, even if it isn't, think the number one like human trafficking is labor trafficking, which is for domestic servitude. And so a lot of it, it's like horrible conditions. They're not allowed. You can only sleep for like 3 hours a day. I mean, this Josephine looks like she has like a really good, nice setup going on. She can go visit her family during Christmas, stuff like that. But for some people, they don't even have they don't even have a place to sleep. They don't have their own rooms. They're basically servants or slaves. So it's not the most ideal situation, and it's almost as if they can't leave because they have to support their children, and so they're not really given an option of what else to do. Moving on. Yes. Okay. We only have 8 today, so
amazing.
It's awesome.
Amazing.
Number 2, according to Global Women, what is gendered about this caring work that migrant women give? How do men figure into this new global arrangement?
I guess those 2 points are going to be the last question.
Yeah.
More into this.
I've seen I have seen dudes be like the more nurturing one in like situations. Like my uncle, he's more of like the one who stays at home and takes care of the kids. So I mean, it's not foreign to me to see like a man potentially doing this gendered work. That like I guess we like already gendered it, so it's like women are only supposed to do this and that, it's like be nannies and everything like that. But I have seen the other role play into being more of the child's caretaker. I think it was like broken down. It was like child caretaking, and it was like 3 steps or something. It was like child caretaking and something. It was like a part of that woman's work. That
Child rearing, cleaning, something like that.
yeah. Oh, the wife's traditional role, the child care, homemaking, and 6.
It also kind of spends a little bit of time talking about how these jobs, they pay decently, and women are more likely to send that money home to their family than men are.
Yeah.
And so it kind of goes back to the whole, maternal nurturing thing, like you're going to take care of your family first before you take care of yourself.
Right.
Yeah, I think that is like the stereotype because I think it says like I think it was in the Philippines or somewhere. They actually encourage women to go to first world countries and work by saying that women are more likely to send more of the money and stuff like that. So it's almost as if they're conditioning their citizens to think women should go because we're telling you that women are going to be the ones to send the money. And then which is, I think, might be the self-fulfilling prophecy where the women think, well, I'm expected to send the money, so I will send the money. And the men are thinking, since the women will go, I won't have to do it. And even if I were to go work, I'm not expected to send all the money, so I'm not going to, kind of stuff.
It's
And
Sri Lanka Bureau. It was a Sri Lanka Bureau.
Sri Lanka, yeah. So and honestly, the caring work, like you said, not just women do it, but it's more encouraged for women to do it.
Right.
And I think there's that negative stereotype for men who stay home or like the stay-at-home dads, which there shouldn't be, because I think men are just capable of doing women's work than as women are. But yeah. What is the second question? How do men figure into this new global arrangement?
I think those were the things that I mentioned last time. How
What did you ask him?
Well, in the text, it said that because men won't, especially in first world countries, because men won't do the women's work, while the women are expected to like do it all. So they have to take care of the kids, take care of the home, take care of the husband, and work all at the same time. But men are just expected to work. But since women can't do it all, but they're still expected to seem as they are, then these third world country women come in, do the work kind of backstage behind the scenes, so that these first world women look like they're in it all. But it's because the men won't help to do the work, which I don't think is the case. Sometimes, like a lot of men, I think especially nowadays, they kind of divide the work, but people with traditional beliefs might not believe that men should ever do any cleaning or cooking or anything. I kind of want to know when this was written. It says 2002. That wasn't that long ago. But still, I think lots has changed, I guess, since then. Any more comments? Okay, number 3. In Global Women, how does this example demonstrate that we cannot talk about a single category of women when addressing feminist issues?
Well, that goes into how there's lot of different categories of women. Like, no two women fall into the exact same category. Like, there are women here who, you know, they go to the first world countries and work, and then there's women who stay behind and work, and
Some are maids, some are sex workers.
you can't really clump them all into one category as these women who are migrating because they're migrating for different jobs and different reasons, and they need to be represented.
Yes.
Word.
I think it's with the intersectionality of how like other variables play a part in how you're treated. So it's not just gender, your race, and your socioeconomic status, and so many other variables play into like inequality. And so women, white women, the first world country, yes, they're disadvantaged and they have more inequality compared to white first world men, but compared to like these third world, even second world women, they are much more like dominant category, I guess. So like you said, you kind of have to take all that into consideration in order to analyze it in the feminist perspective, because the whole idea of the feminist perspective is equality for everyone. And so if you don't think about it, then you can't give equality to everyone if you think that everyone already has equality, which interestingly enough, a lot of people think that everyone in the world is equal. So, but that's not really the case. So I think it's important.
That kind of reminds me of something I talked about in my Women's and Genders history class last semester. And one of the concepts that we discussed is how you can't understand gender without understanding race and social class. And so it's because your race and social class determines lots of gender roles that are assigned for you. And so, yeah, like you said, based on that, you can't classify everybody together.
Yeah. Do you want to move on to the next one?
Sure.
According to the Global Women, how are migrant women exploited by a global economic system? What non-economic factors figure into this exploitation?
Does it mean like this part where it says men in wealthier countries are also, of course, directly responsible for the demand of immigrant sex workers, like that?
I think that probably plays into a factor of like that would probably go to the second one, the non-economic factors.
I kind of have to wonder if it is really non-economic because they're doing it. Like, is anything non-economic really when you're working? Because if you're a sex worker, you have sex to make money, to whether support your family or yourself.
I mean, I guess
You know what I mean?
I guess that could fall into the economic perspective, but I was thinking more of how I guess it would be like supply and demand kind of thing. I hate referring to it as that, but that's like,
Yeah.
you know, they're gonna go where people want sex. So
Or even where they want labor, they're gonna go.
because I mean, whatever these women are doing, their skills are being exploited for the gain or pleasure of other people.
Yeah. And they're not as exotic and
Yeah.
they may seem desirable sexual partners for the same reason that first world employers believe them to be especially gifted as caregivers.
And honestly, I mean, part of it might be that they come willingly, even when they're a sex worker, as maids and labor workers. But while they're doing that, like the men are getting pleasure, and then for labor, the women get to take care of their kids, spend time with their kids, and then go to work and spend time with their husband. While these women aren't able to see their kids at all. She gets to see them, I think, for like 2 months, a month, but some people don't even get to see their kids for years, and who knows what's happening to those kids. So there is, I think it's exploitation in that way, although they come willingly sometimes, that doesn't mean that, right, sometimes, because there is like human trafficking. It's not always just because they come willingly, it's not
like something they want.
Right.
So no one wants to like just leave their. I mean, I'm not saying no one wants to, but generally you don't think people just want to leave their families behind to go work out of the country, and not come back for months on end. So while it's consensual, it's not like
It's not the
ideal
ideal situation.
Yeah.
You know, this is thanks to the AIDS epidemic, prostitution has become a job that fewer women deliberately choose.
I think that there is that side of like feminism and sociology where they believe that women who go into prostitution and sex work, they do it willingly and it's more of a liberating process for them, which I understand. But I think when you count the fact that they are economically disadvantaged, I don't think that's any kind of liberation. If they were rich, they wouldn't most likely not be out there being a prostitute, you know. But if you have other options, but you choose to become a prostitute, then that might make more sense compared to you have no other options, so that's the only thing you can turn to make a living, which is sad.
There's this really great photographer completely off. Well, it's not completely off topic, but he went into where it's somewhere in South America where it's like really prostitution, like a really big thing. He was going into brothels and like photographing these women and stuff. And it was really, really powerful to like see, like, because older women mentor the younger women to like these sexual practices and stuff. It's just it's really interesting to watch.
Yeah, I heard until a certain age you don't actually have sex, but you learn how to, and then you have like your
Prepubescent. Like prepubescent, you don't have sex with people.
So it is
13, 14, 16.
The non-economic factor for the second part, it says, by migrating, a woman may escape the expectation that she care for elderly family members, relinquish her paycheck to a husband or father, or defer to an abusive husband. Migration may also be a practical response to a failed marriage and the need to provide for children without male help. Yep.
Yeah. Just go to the bathroom. Okay.
Yeah, you can keep going.
Number 5. Yes, 5. In the other one, what it means to be gendered means on the boundaries of a dichotomous gender system. What does it mean to be a gender rebel? What are some of the consequences for people who do not follow gender rules? 72. Well, it's anyone who goes against the social norms of what it means to be male or female. And that's what Betsy Lucal does. She's a female, but she's dressed as male. And so she's going against the norms that women have to be dressed feminine and wear makeup and wear dresses and skirts and have long hair and stuff like that. But she says she has like a top cut and she wears baggy clothes because she just feels comfortable in baggy clothes. And she's never really had long hair her whole life. That's just what she's comfortable with. She doesn't wear makeup. That's what she's comfortable with. And she's female, but society, just because of the way she dresses, identifies her as male. And so when people find out that she's a female acting like a male, there's a lot of like negative responses. And she says most of the time the main thing is they don't know. People don't know how to address her. And every interaction that she has with people, it's, do you think I'm male or female? And from that, I have to correct you, or I just go along with it, not to have any, like, spend a lot of time on it. So, yeah.
How do you feel about that phrase, gender rebel?
I like it, but it's kind of almost, by saying that, I think you're accepting that there is a gender and that you're rebelling against it.
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
when they're really like, what is gender? It's socially constructed, so technically there's no such thing as gender until you assign to it. And so by saying gender rebel, it's, you might think that you're trying to be progressive or to be open, but it's almost as if you're accepting that there's a gender. So I'm female, but because I dress male, I'm rebelling against that gender, which I think is counterproductive, personally.
It just kind of sounds kind of violent to me. Like, it sounds like something, like, from, like, you know, your teenage angst years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when everyone's, yeah.
It's almost like, yeah, and if you think
Yeah.
about that, then people are, oh, it's just a phase. You know, you'll get over dressing like a boy, you'll get over dressing like a girl,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Or
Yeah.
like a goth or
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
hippie or whatever name they got out there.
It's really interesting because she says just to go to a bathroom, like a woman's bathroom, she has to like accentuate her breasts or like show her nail polish or whatever. When, I mean, she said you have to show my sex in order for people to see my gender. And I thought that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, people are so uncomfortable with using a bathroom.
Like koi bathrooms.
Yes,
like-
co-ed bathrooms, and I think that starts with like transgender people and stuff like that. Like if it's, I mean, just as you might feel uncomfortable, that person probably feels even more uncomfortable having to use a different bathroom. You know, so it's just honestly, it's pretty ridiculous.
Next one.
Same article. What are the elements of our gender performance?
We kind of talked about this in class a little bit, like the first or second day, right? And we were talking about how pretty much everything we do is an expression of our gender. Like she was talking about how she puts on lipstick in the morning and how, even though that's just something that she does, she's using that to express her femininity. So,
Yeah.
I'll wear a boob shirt next.
What?
Century.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because we do it like even as someone who doesn't want to conform to gender. I do things believing that things are dichotomous without knowing it,
Yeah.
without realizing it, because I'm so used to it. But sometimes it's kind of, it's like, where do you draw the line? Because I wear makeup because I like makeup, and I wear dresses and skirts because I like wearing dresses and skirts. But some people are like, well, if you don't believe in being gendered, why do you dress feminine? But I'm like, well, because that's just who I identify with. But I think it's kind of like, where do you say this is right, this is wrong? But then I'm kind of thinking you should just let everyone express themselves however way they want to,
Right.
you know? And it just, with her, she, like, for her, it is a performance. For me, I feel like I'm just living my life, but her, she has to go to the bathroom, like, accentuate her breasts. Every time she just pay her nails to go through, like, TSA airport security, because her, identification says she's female, but since she looks male, she has to paint her nails to show that she's feminine, because the nail color is apparently feminine.
which is really weird to think because, like, I have so many guy friends who will just paint their nails. Like, it's not that, you know, they're expressing femininity, it's just they really like painting their nails. And so it's weird to think that that's the one deciding factor that people are like, oh, okay, that's a woman. So,
And just little things. She said when her hair was a little longer, people treat her more feminine than before just because of your hair length. Little stuff like that. One of my friends, she cut her hair really short recently for this play she's doing, and everyone started thinking that she was a boy, and so now she's wearing headbands and wearing a lot more pink and more like girly things, more frills and skirts and dresses, because that's what she has to do in order for people to treat her as a woman, who is what she identifies as. So it's really interesting that you have to put on a show to show other people that you're one thing or another.
that kind of, like, in middle school, I went through this really, I mean, for me, it was a really strange time. For other people, it might not have been strange. But I dressed like a guy. And it wasn't that, you know, I was trying to project a masculine kind of portrayal of myself. It was just I really liked wearing guy clothes. And so my parents were like freaking out. They're like, people are going to think you're gay. And I'm like, I don't really care if people think I'm gay. That doesn't, I know I like guys. And then they're like, well, you don't want to be treated like a dude. And I was like, I'm not a dude. Because when I was younger, so I didn't understand the concept of having to be treated differently because I was going to be taken as a boy or a girl. And so it's really weird to like be seeing people now that I understand this concept of the dichotomous kind of thing, and like looking back and seeing how I was treated differently at that point in my life. So it's just very, like I wasn't expressing the gender that I identified with, so people didn't understand. It was very strange.
Yeah, but what is like treating you like a boy when you mean like they're gonna say like 50 push-ups in the middle of McDonald's? Like
I mean, it's just people are rougher. They're more like.
Yeah, she says in the article one time, this like she got in an almost accident with this guy, and he came up to her and started yelling at her, and was about to be like really physical with her because she thought that she was male. But then at the same time, on the opposite side, because they think that guys think that she's a guy, they're not going to make suggestive remarks of her, or like she says, I'm not scared to walk down like a dark alley because she's a big woman, and so they think that she's a big guy, and so it's not very likely that she'll get mugged or attacked or raped. But if it was opposite, she's a woman, that guy who she almost had an accident with wouldn't have come up and yelled at her that way and threatened to be violent, but at the same time she would be subjected to the possibility of rape and like sexual assault and just catcalling and all that stuff.
Catcalling gets
being female.
It is probably the most frustrating thing about me.
It is like the most frustrating thing.
Okay.
There we go.
Can I tell a story?
Yes,
I'll tell a story really quick. So I work at the Subway in the mall, Four Seasons, right? And when you go, because you know how, I don't know if you guys, probably, but to get into the restaurant to work, you have to walk down this really sketchy hallway.
Yeah.
Like it's really dark, it's barely lit, and it's awful. And no, there's no windows, and it's like I can't even like spread my arms out like far enough. Like they have to be like in, like it's not even 6 feet wide. And so it was late at night, and I was taking out the trash from Subway, and I was walking down the sketchy hallway, and when I was walking back, there was this big group of guys, like 6 or 7 guys. As a woman, I know what's inevitably going to happen. You're in a sketchy hallway with a big group of guys. And so the first half guys walk by, and they just kind of like stare, like, guys do that stare, and you're just like, you feel like you're being like violated.
Like you're everything at this point.
Yeah. Which, I could deal with at that point. I was like, fine, I can deal with that. And this second half of your guys come down, and they're like, damn, girl. And I'm just like, I'm wearing my Subway uniform. Like, I look like
I have mustard on my pants.
Exactly. Like
oil and vinegar on my shoes.
Didn't even look cute, and I was just kind of like, why? And then I turned around, and I was like, excuse you, and then I started cursing at them. And they were like, oh, no, excuse you, baby girl, excuse you. And I was like, how do you respond to that about when I'm trying to, like, defend myself? Like, you don't respond that way.
Yeah.
That's the point where you just keep walking and leave me alone. Because, Lord help if a group of guys wants to make a woman not feel violated in a sketchy-ass hallway. And I just was so pissed off.
It's like the most annoying thing ever. I used to work in the mall, so I know that hallway really well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because I used to work on Central Stairs. So the one by the River Jesus hallway is more sketchy. But
it's terrible. It's, and I think about all the time, like, what if I didn't dress feminine, like now? Like, now I obviously don't dress excessively feminine, but what if I just didn't dress feminine at all, and I dressed like a guy still? Like, I probably wouldn't get the same responses that I do, and so it's just super frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, that's, like, really, like, more of, like, a severe, like, example, but I was going to go to Woods of Terror last Halloween, and one of my friends, she was like, if you go, don't dress like the way you dress. Wear like a baggy jeans, like wear a hoodie, like put your hair up, put your hoodie up, so they think that you're a guy, because if they know that you're a girl, they're going to like target you, try to scare you more specifically. And so I went with, but other time I went, I just went like with my little skirt, my little boots, and I was like about to die because I felt like they were targeting me, you know what I mean? And so I was like, okay, I followed her advice, and seriously, they scared me, but they didn't chase after me the way that they did when I was dressed more feminine. So it's just little stuff like that. Just, you know?
That kind of falls into, like, gender stereotyping that women would be more sensitive and stuff to things like that.
I think we're just, and then it's in our, it's like in us, ever since we were little, if like a girl was wearing a skirt compared to a girl who's just wearing jeans and a t-shirt, we say, oh, that girl's more girly and this girl's like more, this girl's sporty or like a tomboy. You know, and up to high school, that's all I wore, just jeans and t-shirt, because that's just what I was comfortable with. But when I, like, got out of high school, I don't know why, I just now feel more comfortable in skirts and dresses. Other people might feel more comfortable in jeans. And just when I was wearing jeans and a t-shirt, I was criticized for not dressing up. But then now when I dress in a skirt and dress all the time, they're like, well, why are you always so dressed up? So no matter what I do, I'm criticized just because I feel comfortable wearing what it is that I'm wearing.
And I guess that kind of falls into, like, people who, like I saw, do you guys watch the BuzzFeed videos and stuff?
Yes.
Did you see the video that they did about makeup and feminism? And, like, that's kind of what this reminds me of, is how women who wear makeup and, like, choose to dress, like, very femininely, they get criticized because lots of feminists who don't understand think that they're falling into, like, this patriarchal mindset where women have to be, you know, these pretty, perfect little dolls almost. And then it's like, but women actually just really like to do that. Like, I like wearing makeup. It's very fun to me to, like, mess with it. But
it's, like, therapeutic for me. Just take time to myself and spend time on myself when, like, the world is going crazy and I'm so stressed out, just to spend time on making myself look pretty because I want to, you know? And, like, makeup is fun, but I think, yes, some people do it for for guys, but that's not.
And that's also
everyone.
Their decision.
Right.
Like, if they want to look pretty for their boyfriends or their husbands, or even, you know, they want to look pretty for their girlfriends, like that's their decision, and that's something that they're allowed to make.
So I think, honestly, it's a performance for everyone. Because no matter what we do, we're going to be criticized.
Right.
So, I mean, it is harder for someone like Betsy, but just because, you know, we're not, like, just because I'm female and dress male, that doesn't mean that I'm not having to perform to meet other standards.
And I think it's really hard to compare the two because both have different struggles, different pros and cons of choosing to identify with what you're expected to and choosing not to. Because you're never going to be what society wants you to be. Like, that's just not going to happen. So.
So I guess that falls into, like, my parents calling me their son, like, all the time. Because I'm always, like, I never dress up, and, like, they always say that like, every time they have to tell people everything, they're just, like, because I don't wear jeans or skirts, I wear sweatpants, and, like, I sit around at home in sweatpants, and I don't ever, like, wash my hair every day, you know? There's my parents are just, like, your room is always dirty, and so I've never, like, when I do dress up, because I like makeup too, like, when I have to, like, dress up to go do something, I like being, like, very girly, but I don't like to dress up, like, everything at all, and I'm, like, always just down or my sweatpants, and my dad's always like, oh, you don't dress like any of your friends. I'm like, oh, you know, they have time to do that.
Yeah. My dad used to criticize me for wearing sweatpants. Like, I'd go to school, you know, I had to be at school at, like, 7 o'clock in the morning because different extracurriculars and whatnot. And so half the time, I didn't want to put on jeans. I didn't want to wear a skirt. I wanted to wear sweatpants and my hoodie. And he'd be like,
leggings and shirts.
Yeah. He'd be like, you know, you're misrepresenting yourself and you're misrepresenting this family by wearing sweatpants. And I was just kind of like, no, I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those things where it's just kind of like, even though I wasn't identifying with a specific gender, it was still a misrepresentation of something or another.
Okay. Number 7. In this article, discuss Betsy's biography and experiences stemming from her gender display. Do you notice your own desire to categorize, normalize, or pathologize Betsy?
I mean, I think, in a way, we all, even if we don't do it purposefully, it's like a subconscious thing, we categorize people. Right. And so I feel like she'd be someone who wouldn't know where to categorize exactly, and so that would be confusing for us.
It's like so instilled in our brains, though. It's like you could even talking about like all the stuff we do in this class, I could still sit here and in the back of my head catch myself being like, oh well, that's more manly. But like, oh, that's more, that's more girly.
It's just something we're ingrained with.
Yeah, and it's like I try to break it, but it's like, we always have to have something to compare it to, and there's never like a medium or like a non-categorized area.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the things where it's like, once again, as a photographer, he took pictures of children's bedrooms. And so you'd see the boys' bedroom, you'd see the girls' bedroom, and they're very distinctive, pink and purple, or not purple, blue, like pink and blue. There's very distinct items in each of the genders' bedrooms. And so we grew up being taught boy, girl. This is the boy, this is the girl. This is the boy things, these are the girl things. And so even though we're trying to, rewire our brains to think more open and fluidly, it's still like, because we've been taught that way for so long. And, it's not that we don't know any different, because now we do, we're learning, but it's from the developmental period, it's all we know.
Well, I mean, I feel like we kind of talked about it while we were talking about other stuff. But just her experience with, the bathroom and having to show her credit card and her ID and people questioning her, saying, oh, like, this better be your credit card, stuff like that. And I mean, I understand, because then for them, they want to make sure that they're getting paid for their product. But honestly, that's just really rude, And if if it matches, then like your face, like her face is her face, right? Her name is her name. So, I mean, if I were to go up with my card and my license and show it to her, I would just be able to swipe my card. But because just the way that she displays herself and displays her gender, she's criticized, and she says she won't even use public restrooms anymore. She'll try and go with like one of her girlfriends, because that like going into a bathroom with a girl kind of validates that she's also a girl, or she won't use dressing room. She'd rather just buy it. If it doesn't fit, return it, because she gets weird looks when she tries to go to the dressing room. Just little stuff like that. I mean, and when she walks with one of her girlfriends, they think that they're like a heterosexual couple, but if she were to be dress feminine, then they would think that they're lesbians. So just because of appearances, and I think it's because our society we don't want to have a gray area. We want to understand everything, and so not being able to understand someone who the person it is that you're dealing with, like, is this male or female? And I don't remember if it was this book or one of the women gender studies. I always get these two mixed up because they're so interconnected. Yeah. But it said, maybe it was this one, that let's say because I'm a woman, if I identify someone as male, and if let's say it's dark, I'm walking by myself, it's dark, I identify someone as male, I'm going to be scared.
Yeah.
Right? But if I identify that person as a female, I'm just going to go my way, or maybe walk together as like so we can protect each other kind of thing. And so just little stuff like that, in order to kind of make ourselves feel better almost, we categorize other people. And I didn't, while I was reading this, categorize Betsy or try to normalize her, but I honestly, sadly feel like if I were to see her out in public, I would.
Yeah.
Automatically think, oh, she's male, or I would think, is she male, is she female, and automatically lean towards one or the other, depending on, let's say, the way she's dressed or the way she speaks. So, and that's horrible, but
it's something that,
it has been rooted in us so much, and it takes such a long time to break that down.
And it's not even something that you're super conscious of. It's just kind of like I look at you and I don't think, oh, well, she's a female, but it's one of those, in the back of my mind, it's like, she's a woman, I'm going to treat her like a woman. It's wrong to do, but it's like a natural kind of instinctual thing that we've been taught.
And it's not just gender, it's like race too, or just the way someone dresses, you put them in like a socioeconomic status.
Right.
stuff like that. So if someone's in jeans and a t-shirt, then we're like, oh, maybe lower middle class. But if someone's decked out in a suit, you're gonna think upper class.
Right.
Like,
If someone's like in
right.
sweatpants at the broke college student.
Right.
All the
Yeah.
time.
Right, but then they will know. Oh, she works at as a law
Yeah,
firm.
I love doing that though.
Right?
I think, oh my god, I love doing that. People like I will dress like this broke ass college student like every day, and then they'll see my court badge and they'll be like, "Oh, you work for the state?" I'm like, "Yes, I work for the state." It's like, and yeah. I mean, it's happened where I've had because I can use my badge to get discounts at hotels. So like one time I walked into a hotel, it was like a Holiday Inn, I checked in and like I looked nothing like my badge had like makeup and everything dressed up. And then I walked in with like sweatpants trying to get this hotel room. They're like, "Can I see your driver's license with this ID?" And I'm just like, "Sure." So I gave them my driver's license with it. And this other time I walked in, they were like, they didn't need to see my state ID. They just believed when I reserved the room online that I was just part of the state because I was decked out.
Oh wow.
So.
Yeah, I think that's almost how much she has to go through, just because of the way that they asked for your license because you weren't wearing makeup.
Right.
You weren't in
They were like, "Oh, you're not this person." I'm like, "You can't make up a name like Deborah the Chaudhry, bro. Come on, like, you really can't make that up." So, all right.
Yeah.
Did you guys read the talk of IDs? Is making me think of this, but there was an article about I think it was in Illinois, maybe, but this guy, he typically wears makeup. He dresses more femininely and does all that. And so he went to go get his license, and they made him take off his makeup to get his license, and that's illegal. You can't, because that's how he's normally represented is with his makeup. And so there was this big, huge deal about how because he was a male, they wouldn't let him project his gender how he wanted to.
Yeah.
So
there was a thing about a woman, she couldn't wear her hijab in her driver's license picture, like a Muslim head cover dress, and the entire Muslim America lost it.
But that's
because they were like, you're not supposed to take that off.
Yeah.
She shouldn't be even let alone be taking a picture, let alone you're asking her to take her hijab off at the DMV because you think that because you have to. I have hair, the hair color has to be matching the driver's license, but they were like, you could just tell them what your hair color is.
Yeah.
But
and it's not like she would go out in public typically without it.
Yeah.
So no one's gonna know it.
Right. Okay.
And why does your hair color matter more than what your face looks
like?
Someone gonna identify you by your hair color? That's not gonna work.
I wonder if it was a face hijab or if it was like in Afghanistan they wear the full one and just the eyes only, and then like Pakistan and like other areas they have just the face open.
Right.
So like
isn't the one with just the eyes that's the burqa, right?
Yeah, the burqa they wear that in Afghanistan. So that's why I think it was that specific situation where you need to show your face for the picture or something. But then it's
it's not going to be a deciding factor since she won't go out without.
Right.
That's insane. Oh my gosh.
I mean, for the guy, if I were to walk in, they wouldn't say, "Oh, take your makeup off."
Right. Because women can change their faces pretty drastically with
I
makeup.
change my lipstick color daily.
Right.
Have you seen
a contour kit?
Yeah.
Have you seen a contour kit?
Just little things. Like some days I wear eyeliner, some days I don't wear eyeliner.
Right.
Other days that I don't, I look different than just little things.
Yeah.
But
I have really tiny eyes, so when I do my makeup, I make it to where my eyes look a lot big. I was arguing with my friend in my dorm the other day because I was talking about how I have because I have really tiny features, and it's really annoying. He goes, "No, you don't." I'm like, "Because you see me with this makeup on, I can change this."
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
Even really great makeup artists, they can age their face or so it's I don't know. If you're gonna do that for one, you have to do it for everybody.
And he's gonna go out with his makeup, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, is this the same person?"
Yeah.
Because DMV wouldn't let him keep his makeup on.
Or even
yeah.
It's just, this is very frustrating to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's the next one?
In this article, how do these experiences with gender misattribution provide some theoretical insight into contemporary Western understandings of gender and into the social structure of contemporary society?
Oh,
yep. And it is only 1:22.
Are we supposed to keep talking?
Does it say how long it's been? I think it says 44.
Yeah, it does.
Is this
So-
asking like
Like,
how do these experiences of gender and misattribution provide theoretical insight into contemporary Western understanding of gender?
Like,
So-
that kind of goes back to
Just how the Western world understands gender?
or just our contemporary society in general.
Well, I think that, like, traditionally we have the dichotomous male-female kind of thing, but as we're progressing as a culture, we're starting to acknowledge the in-betweens. So, I guess it's continuously going to change as long as we let it.
Yeah. I think the difficult part is, some people, like some women will dress more male and, like in whatever way. I think sometimes it's easier for men who dress more female and put their makeup on and stuff like that for us to be more aware that that person's a male who's dressing up as a female compared to a woman who dresses as a male. And so if I were to see Betsy out in public, I'll most likely just automatically assume that she's male and not think, is she really male? But if I saw a man like wearing makeup, has like really long hair, and that person clearly looks like a man but is dressed up as a woman, I'll be more thinking, oh, this person is male but is projecting himself, herself as female, and be aware of it. But sometimes it's not easy to be aware of it. But at the same time, I'm not expecting every time someone walks in, hi, I am female, or hi, I am male, That's kind of ridiculous. And so, just stuff like that, or even with race, I'm not going to go around being like, hello, I am an Asian woman, Or if I was, let's say, mixed race, just listing every single race that I am, or which one I identify with, that's kind of ridiculous. And so, I don't think that we should work so hard on changing our thoughts in, let's say, if I were to see Betsy automatically thinking that she's male, but if I were to communicate with her or talk to her, be able to genuinely apologize and say, hey, I'm sorry, and ask her about her experiences, and be able to talk to her without having negative, stereotypes attached, I guess.
Well, a lot of like people who do dress different, just like not what we were expecting them to. They're a lot more like easygoing. Like you can go up to them and just be like, I'm really sorry. Like it's happened to me.
Yeah.
Where I just like completely made an ass out of myself. And I'm just like, hey, what's up? And I'm a girl. I'm sorry.
They're like, oh, it's okay. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's the sad part almost, that they have to go through that all the time.
And it's something they get used to.
It's something they get used to. When if I get mistaken for a guy, I would be completely just like crazy. I'm like, what? And be so upset. I'd probably start crying because that's just not who I am, But like for other people, it's something they have to go through every day, and they get so used to it because just the way that you dress identifies you. It's a display of, it's like we're all mannequins or something. A display of our gender.
It's like really hard for me to like dress like a dude and not get a lot of stigmas attached to it because I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, which means like I have this like really high level of like androgen, and so like a lot of people who like know that, they'll be like, oh well, she's probably just like like she's probably like hermaphroditic or like something else, like just like automatically assuming that like I like if I do want to dress like if I have like guy shirts and like guy jeans, like I'll wear that time to time, but it's only because it's like out of comfort and because of like easiness.
It's cheaper too.
Yeah, can we just like talk about that for a second? Like it's real cheap and it is easier to wash. There's not like that delicate stuff. Like I have to get my like my work pants like dry clean, but like it's happened so many times because I'm like especially in my culture, like a lot of people will see me because I have like tattoos and like I'll wear like not girl clothes, and if they know I have PCOS, they're just like, oh, what's the androgen? Like she's masculine. She's just always been more masculine. She's a tomboy, or like she must be like transgendered or like cross-gendered or like cross-dressing and stuff like that. Like it goes with like different things that come with it. I'm like, I'm just wearing jeans, bro. Just wearing jeans.
So much like
still got a vagina. Like I'm pretty sure. I don't know what else you want to say.
Sometimes it's like it's better to just ask and be wrong than like assume these horrible, terrible things about someone when it's not
Yeah, I mean, it's happened. Like, I mean, it's always, but it's like, it's always been like, I mean, my parents, they don't like really like help the situation, but it's like also like they're a product of their society. Like for them, it's like we also do come from something gender. Like we have more acceptance, I feel, of transgendered or like, you know, intersex, but it's not like, but it's also like, it's either you're male, female, or intersex. And so it's like, we're acknowledging it and we're accepting it, but we'll still make that a category as well. So it's like, if you don't fit the woman or male category, you're intersex. So it becomes like one of those things. My parents are always just like, Mama doesn't say, I mean, they don't like, my parents don't call me intersex, but they're just like, oh, like she's more of a tomboy. Like she wears boy clothes and stuff like that. And like just says like that. And then my dad's just always like, oh, you should dress like a girl more. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
Yeah. I think what you said about if you're not male, female, you're something else. Even if you're something else, you're still categorized as something else.
Still categorized.
We're always categorizing.
And at least in like our culture, it's like the other category has like that kind of negative stigma because you're you're other.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you don't get to fall into your own category, so you kind of just get mushed together with everybody else who doesn't fall into a category either. And so it's kind of unfortunate in a way.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of weird. Like everyone's just like always hear androgen, and they automatically assume that I'm like, oh man. Okay.
I mean, we're laughing, but that's really bad.
It is. I laugh because I don't want to cry. Like, it's so sad.
How you said it, too. It's like, oh, man.
Well, because I joke about it because it's so funny to me. Like, it's so funny, like, the reactions that I get from it. Like, I tell them, like, I have this androgen hormone, and they're just like, wow, like, oh, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, nothing. Like, I have an androgen hormone. I have a male hormone in me. Like, what?
Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
It's
like,
just
I mean, I just got broader shoulders than you guys. Like, there's nothing more wrong with me. Like, I just have broader shoulders and broader hips. That's it. Like, that's it. That's the only thing it's done. I mean, my leg hair grows out faster than anybody else. You know, that's it. I'm on birth control, though. So, you know, to help with the hormone therapy. Yeah. But it's also because of the cyst. Like, the hormone therapy is just for, like, the cyst. But, I mean, like, it's such a, like, you know, like, everyone's, like, always like, oh, my God, like, you have androgen. Like, what is that?
That's really, I never realized people would, like, react to that so negatively. Like,
it happened more when I was in high school. Like, I mean, when I entered college, like, it just disappeared. And I mean, like, and then when I met my boyfriend, like, there was nothing. I mean, he knew what PCOS was because aunt had it or something. So, I mean, he already knew it. I mean, like, I guess people who, read a book will know not to judge me.
Yeah.
You know, in high school, people didn't read books. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
I think for each gender, there's always positive and negative. You know, everything for guys, they're expected to be, like, really angry all the time and be overly sexual and be hyper-masculine, while females are expected to be hyper-feminine and be weak and submissive and all this. And if you're not, then you're called terrible things.
I just don't know why I fall under it. Like, you know, people make me feel like I belong in a different species of categories or something. Like, it's just like, oh, if you have the androgen hormone, you're not female, you're that. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm clearly not a male. Have you seen my D-cup tits? Like, I mean, where do I fall? And so it was hard, though, like, first, because, like, my sisters would always say the same thing. They're like, yeah, like, they would joke, like, my little brother, like, you know, when it came to me, I was just like, yeah, that's cool. I'll still beat your ass like a dude, like, don't. But, I mean, I don't know. It was harder, like, growing up just because, like, I didn't know what category I fell in because I always felt like I needed to be in a specific category, and that really did mess with me. Like, I really was, like, it made me feel uncomfortable dressing in, like, a non-feminine way. Like, if I were wearing sweatpants, or if I was wearing something else, like, I would feel like, oh, I need to go get my nails done now because someone's telling me that I should be more like a girl, but then it's like, I don't, you know, and then it's like, my parents are like, oh, you never dress it for your boyfriend? Like, I don't feel like I need to. Like, I just, you know, like, am I supposed to?
Like, this is how you represent yourself. There shouldn't be anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like, nail polish is gender. Makeup is female. Nail polish is female.
Right.
Playing football is male.
Right.
You know, all, like, it's either one or the other. And sometimes it's like with, like, jeans and stuff like that, that's male and female. But depending on what type of jeans you wear, you know, you're categorized.
Elastic jeans, you a girl.
You know, so it's kind of, yes, you can do some things, but no to the others. And if you're not, because you wear sweatpants all the time, and sweatpants are more guy things, you know, then you're really not.
I clearly don't look like an athlete. I'm wearing sweatpants.
Right.
Sure, they're like, where are you coming from? Like, I mean,
even like you mentioned football. Like we have women's football, but have you seen like I don't even remember what it's called, but they dress in like bikinis and they play football in like their underwear. Fantasy football or something like that. I don't remember what it's called.
No, fantasy football is like that.
That's a game.
Yeah, fantasy football is that actual game where like they actually like have their own fantasy league. But there is like another fantasy football where it's just women's bikini. Yeah, it's like half like propped up like jersey shirts and then underwear and like knee pads, and they like play football.
And it's super overly sexualized. And it's like I played powder puff in high school, and I was on D-line, and I almost beat this girl ass. Like we were legit.
This ain't no flag football no more, honey.
No.
That'd be tackle football.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I played it.
Yeah.
And honestly, even during like, because I did powder puff, there were so many girls like, oh, I don't want to, do that and get my hair dirty. I don't want to, like, my boyfriend's gonna think that I'm a tomboy and all this for playing football. And I'm honestly, it's kind of, and even some of the girls who did play, they just kind of hopped around and didn't play. And I was it's a sport, it's a game.
Our anchor club supervisor who was like, because we did powder puff through anchor club, which was like a community service kind of thing, and so we did it to like raise food for like the soup kitchen or whatever. And she made us wear these really big pink bows in our hair, and when we did like the underline things right here, we had glitter. And she was like, we're gonna play football and you're gonna get messy, but you're gonna look pretty while you do it.
Like it glitters in my eyes.
Yeah, so we're just kind of like everyone else there was like cheerleaders and they're like super preppy, and I'm in marching band, I'm in this competitive trivia team.
Like high
school. So it's just kind of like, I'm here to play football and not look pretty. And it was ridiculous. We had to feminize the sport to appease our. I don't know. So it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a struggle because sometimes even if you try not to conform to these norms, sometimes you find yourself conforming to these norms.
Yeah.
So and then you catch yourself and you're like, no, but then you do it again and then you regret it. But then I used to blame myself all the time.
I dress like a girl.
I used to do it all the time. I used to be like, Catherine, you are a horrible feminist. But then I thought to myself, and I just realized that I can't just tear down everything that I've learned my entire life and just suddenly become this totally perfect anti-norm, non-conformist to society person. So I think just us talking about it, being aware, is like baby steps to.
Like, I have a girl voice when I'm at work, because I have to be this, like, professional. I'm like, hi, my name is Jackie. I'm just a legal assistant. But, like, every other parts of my life, it's just, like, completely different. I mean, when I'm nervous, like, I tend to go to this, like type of thing. But, like, when I'm, like, nervous or I'm, like anxiety or anything, like, I'm like that. But, like, any other time in my life, especially when I'm off the birth control, because, like, it's, like, during the period, I'm, like, TMI all the time. I've probably said like vagina 3 times. I feel more, and that's what the problem is. Like, I'm always switching these medications, and I'm always like telling them like I feel more like myself when I'm off birth control. But then when I'm like off the birth control, I'm in pain. So my body is like constantly fighting itself every day. And it's like I want to be on birth control because I don't want to have like physical pain. But then it's like when I'm on it, I just feel like a bubble. Like
I feel the same way because like TMI, I have endometriosis, and so I have to like have birth control to like not feel like I'm dying every month.
Yeah.
Like, and so I got this new birth control, and I got like the Nexplanon, that's like the implant in your arm, and I have like this I've been working out, and like I've been working on my arms, and so I think that's causing a bruise right here, and so it really hurts all the time. But yeah, like, cause I've been on and off like all kinds of birth controls, and it makes your hormones like go crazy. And
I just got on Lolestrin FE because it's like the gynecologist told me to get on Lolestrin, and it made me gain 15 pounds. And he didn't tell me that when I got on it, and then I talked to this other gynecologist who, apparently, like, which I feel bad for, but his wife died. He, like, had to move, so he, like, kind of, like, left after 2 months of being my gynac, because the worst breakup of my life was my first gynac. I've had her since I was 14. She was the one who diagnosed me with PCOS, and then she, like, left to go work in South Carolina, and my ex lives in South Carolina. I'm like, everything I hate in life in South Carolina, and you're moving there? I was like, you had to. And so she, like, left there, and, like, it was a really bad breakup. She had her nurse write me a letter. She didn't even call me. I was like, I was really sad about it, but she left, and so I had to go find another gynaec, and it was this dude, and he was like, yeah, well, you know, I was on gas, and, like, everyone's, like, writing those, like, but I was on, like,
did it work for you?
And it was great. It was, like, yeah, whatever weight gain was on, it was my own fault, you know, like, just through college, but, like, it made me feel like a bitch, hormonal as hell, but, but Lillestrand made me just, I feel more emotional, like, I feel more sad, like, I've found 2 depression streaks with being on Lillestrand, and I started May last year, and then I gained, like, all this weight, and then, like, this cute guy was, like, on the phone with me, and she was like, yeah, like, you should have told you about the weight gain, like, the acne, because I have, like, acne now, and I'm just like, I hate you. I was like, you gave me this disgusting-ass birth control that makes me feel like an ogre every day now, and I'm like, thank you. Like, you know, because everyone's, like, noticed it, like, my sister was just like, yeah, just don't go to gym. I was like, no, I didn't stop, man, I just swole up now, like, all of a sudden. And so she finally told me, she was like, yeah, like, it doesn't help with my PCOS at all. Like, I feel like I'm always more in pain, but, like, it's a little bit more controlled, but, like, it's like, but I can't do the depot shots or I can't do the injection because my body, like, rejects everything. Like, I've done Nuva ring, I've tried everything. I've tried the depot shots, I broke out. Like, it was just,
I haven't done the shots.
So I mean, the pills have just been the most effective, but I mean, it's a pain, man. Like,
and there's like such a negative connotation to birth control. Like, because I had to take it to regulate my period because it's so irregular. One time I went a year without being on my period.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so I went to my gyno and he was like, yeah, we're going to get you birth control. And so I would take it at the same time every single day or it just screws me over.
Right.
So I put a reminder on my phone, take birth control, and every time it would come on, if I was next to some stranger, they would give me a weird look, whether it's a girl or a guy.
Right.
Like, I was going around having sex, and even if I was, that's my body and my issues. Right. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So then I had to change it. I changed to smile because every time they think it's cute. But I'm kind of like, why do I have to?
I have a little chicken with the egg popping out, like, you will get pregnant, like,
you know, so it's ridiculous. And every time I take it out in public, people give me weird looks, and I'm like, just because I'm taking it, people take it for medical issues, not just.
Yeah.
I started, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, it came out because of birth control.
Yeah.
Like, for that, but
when I started, my dad was pissed off because he was like, you better not be sleeping around, you know, who are you sleeping with? And I'm just kind of like, even if I was sleeping with people, which I mean I was, but you know, I'm not going to tell my father that. And I was like, you know, I'm not, but if I was, that's my business, and at least I'm going about it so where I don't, you know, have a baby when I'm 15. And I was like, you know, I actually am doing this for medical reasons. And yeah, like my mom, because I had to take my birth control at the time because I was like on the pill, and I had to take it at lunch, and she was like, well, make sure you don't take that around other people. You don't want other people knowing that you're on birth control. I'm like, who cares if I'm on birth control? Like, that shouldn't be something that...
I take it at night, every night before I go to bed, but my dad found out, because they went to the pharmacy, and they were like, oh, we have a prescription for Devrati, and they were like, oh, he's like, yeah, I'll just pick it up, and then he came over, he was crying, he was like, are you having sex? And I'm like, no, Dad! I was like, what is wrong with you? I was laughing my ass off because he's just like this old little Indian man, and he's just like, why are you taking birth control? Are you having sex? And I'm like, no, Dad. That's not. It was so funny. Like, the day that he found out, I was hilarious. It was so, I was laughing while he was crying. And I was like, you're so Indian. I'm like, oh. Like, no. And then I told him, I was like, should we stop? Oh, is it still
recording? I'm sure she wants to know about all of our birth control issues.
Yeah, you can stop it.
I thought this was
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.